what's up? It's Megan Riley. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been forever since I posted a video on here, and I'm so sorry about that. Even just putting this one up, this is actually my third attempt trying to sit down and record this. And I keep failing at it because one, my storage space is super low, and so I'm hoping this can go up properly, but two, I'm going to be talking about some pretty sensitive topics today. So just want to give a trigger warning. I'm going to be talking about like calories and things of that nature. So if you're not ready to hear that, I completely understand. I suggest clicking off this video. I also do want to preface this video by saying I am not a nutritionist. I am just me. I'm not a dietitian. This is just going to be a breakdown on what I did to lose weight. Show you guys some clips of me before and after. However, I'm not going to disclose exactly how much I weighed before or even now. I don't know if I ever will, because honestly, it's just a number. It really is. I did this for like my mental health, and I don't want anyone to compare themselves, because like I said, I know this is a sensitive topic. Maybe one day I'll come around to sharing it with you guys, but I'm just not comfortable with that right now. But I am now down 35 pounds. And I never thought I could lose like this much weight. Also, so sorry about the like mess over here. I simply just don't feel like putting away my clothes. But I did light a candle, so we got a little ambiance going in the background, you know, so everything's okay. It just kind of evens itself out. Okay. But let's get into this. Alright, so if you guys don't know, I have actually been a hairstylist the last 7 years, and to make a long story short and not get too heavily into my own personal life, because that's just not something I'm willing to share, and some of you do already know, I fell out of love with doing hair. So much so that I just didn't even like not like it. I like genuinely dreaded going into work every day. It wasn't really about doing hair for me anymore. It was just like interacting with so many people and so many different people's like energy, because I do deal with anxiety. Like I needed to get myself out of doing hair, and I just didn't know how to go about that, because doing this was like what I went to school for and all I've ever known. So I honestly didn't think I was capable of doing anything else, which is really sad, like kind of reflecting on this now. But that's kind of like the headspace I was in. I didn't think I could. But now kind of like looking back on this, I realize, and maybe you guys will kind of like get it as I go on into the video, I think that the universe, it truly does make your situation so heavily uncomfortable to the point where you're kind of like forced out of it. And that's kind of what happened with me. I kept having these like weighing heavy feelings, having anxiety attacks before going into work. To deal with it was to drink. I would drink wine like nearly every night. And it started off with just like maybe a glass or two here and there, and eventually became like drinking almost a whole bottle every single night. Just to calm myself down is what I would tell myself, to make it justifiable in my head. And I eventually like realized like this was not for me, and I felt terrible. And it was starting to reflect in my body, my mentality, everything. And I also seeked comfort in food during this time. Just kind of shifted my mind into like wanting to be different. And I realized like I've got to get out, and so that's what I did. I finally got a new job, a job that I actually like, and I've never like experienced that before. It's still just like absolutely mind-blowing to me that I went on for years the way I did. Like, I can't even recognize the person that I was before, not even just my eating. So it's kind of where I want to start this off with. I think that in order to get yourself into losing weight actually, I've learned, is pretty easy. Never thought I would sit down and say those words, but it's true. It's really just your mentality. That is the hardest thing to get past, is getting in that right mind space and to keep going. So I would say if you're wanting to make a lifestyle change as well, if there's anything that is bringing you a lot of stress and negativity in your life, immediately cancel it out if you can. I understand like not everyone's situation is set up to be able to do that. And if that is the case, then I highly recommend finding other things that are like your niche, like things that you enjoy doing. So whether that's like writing, reading, drawing, playing some type of instrument, whatever your thing is, do that. Like, fully invest yourself into that, you know, on your free time. But if you have a situation kind of similar to me, then I definitely recommend finding elsewhere, because I promise you, you can do anything you set your mind to. I don't think I had any goals or truly believe that a few months ago. I do not want to get emotional on here. Like, I'm already like starting this video off and I'm just like, why am I coming off so sad? But it is sad. It really is, to think about how much things have changed. But the whole point of that is stress is going to really weigh down, literally weigh down you, not only mentally but physically, and it's really going to hinder any weight loss. So if there's anything you can do to eliminate stress, I do suggest doing that. Secondly, I want to let you guys know the way that I have lost weight is I have actually been in a caloric deficit. So to be in a caloric deficit, that is really the only way to lose weight. And whether you do keto, you count calories, or you're exercising a lot, those are all caloric deficits, because if it's calories in versus out. So if you're exercising a lot and hopefully you're eating right, you're going to lose weight. And reason being is, you know, if you're doing keto, then you're cutting your macros. If you're exercising a lot, then you're burning more than you eat, most likely. And if you're counting calories, you're obviously in a caloric deficit. So I wanted an easy, foolproof way to lose weight. And kind of what initially started this all for me was, you know, I have been overweight according to my BMI chart for my height and age for the last 4 years. And to be completely honest with you, like, I was just kind of used to that, and I just kind of accepted like that was how it is, and there was just no way I was gonna step foot into a gym. There was no way I was gonna start walking, gonna start doing anything, and I was just kind of comfortable with being uncomfortable, to be honest with you. I don't know, at the beginning of this year, it really just set off. All that anxiety, everything just hit so hard that I just drowned myself literally in so many negative things that I stopped taking care of myself. I stopped dressing myself the way I wanted to dress. I started wearing baggy shirts to cover up my body, which I still love. I love oversized stuff. It's comfortable, but I had a different meaning behind it. I would cover my body up. I would only show, you know, angles of my face unless I like approved of the photo of my body beforehand. It just was not about to go out because I didn't feel confident. So kind of once I decided like I needed to change, I had gotten up to no longer overweight, but at one point I did become obese for my height and weight, and I don't even think anyone knew that because, like I said, I would just cover it up. No one knew, except for the people in my own personal life, you know, that would see me every day. And I remember I just had this huge breakdown, just kind of broke down one day, and I was like, this is disgusting. I can't keep drinking all this wine. I can't keep doing this to myself. And I just wanted so badly to at least go back down to my normal, which my normal was overweight. So I decided to get right back into an app called Lose It. This app I have literally had in my phone for years, and I've never been consistent with tracking my calories. However, this time I knew it was going to be different. But I do want to let you guys know that this is the app I've been using, and it's called Lose It. And it literally, you're gonna put in, if you decide to do this, you know, your height, your age, what your goal weight is, what your current weight is, if you're sedentary or if you're active. And the best way to find out if you are sedentary or not, if you don't know, I think, and what I highly recommend is to get an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, or I believe there might even be some apps that can track your steps. So for me personally, I went from being a sedentary, being that I was in a salon, even though I was standing all day and kind of walking a lot, or so I thought, compared to my job now. Oh my gosh, I am walking like 10,000 steps a day, and I'm constantly moving, sweating, lifting stuff even sometimes. So that has really helped in, you know, my calories in versus out and all of that. I'm always wearing this watch to keep track of that, and I have it synced up to the Lose It app, so that way you know, it'll compute a caloric deficit, that like amount of calories you need to eat within the day to lose weight. So I'm always walking. I always have a minimum of 10,000 steps a day, and I also will stay within my calorie limit every single day. And the amount of times, you guys, that I have tried to do this and gave up because I would just cut out all these different things in my diet. Like I literally would tell myself like, oh, you can't have too much sugar, you can't have carbs, you can't have that. Like, no, you absolutely can have those things. And I think that's what finally like clicked and worked for me, was I stopped telling myself like I couldn't have all these certain food groups, because that's just not sustainable. You absolutely can have pizza, you absolutely can have Cheez-Its, you absolutely can have Taco Bell, anything that you normally eat, okay? And I say this because it is so true. But you just eat less of it. That's the thing. So, you know, I still allow myself to have cookies, but instead of eating 10 cookies, I now have maybe 1 or 2. I eat it to feel satisfied and to like curb that craving rather than to get full off of it. So, you know, the reason why this is so important is and the reason why people call these things like a lifestyle change is because you're supposed to learn things along the way as you go. It's not supposed to just like click and happen overnight. Like I've literally learned all of this slowly as the months have gone on, and you're supposed to find meals that are going to be satisfying and that are, you know, healthy and fit for you and your lifestyle. And I know that can be scary at first, especially, I get it, because I have not been a cook. I still am not the best, But now I'm like actually trying to teach myself how to cook different things, and it's actually fun and exciting. Whereas before, I literally would eat whatever I wanted at any time. Before this, like, I literally would go to Taco Bell, go to Steak and Shake. I would eat every single meal outside of my house. It was all fast food because I just refused to learn how to cook. I refused to eat at home. Why? It's just, so my suggestion, find meals that are going to be easy and readily available for you at home. Eat from home. What I did was I would watch a lot of like weight loss videos. I would watch what I eat in a day videos, what I eat in a day in a caloric deficit, just so I could get some simple ideas at home that I could switch over. So, you know, if you're making simple switches, like I said, I still have bread, but instead of eating, you know, white bread, I instead swapped it out for 100% whole wheat bread, or I get like these little like sandwich thins, again, whole wheat, instead of eating some random lunch meat with so much salt and who knows how many calories. I now will go to the deli and I'll get like this Prima Della buffalo chicken. Tastes a lot better, looks a lot better. Anyway, okay, I also stopped drinking a lot of my calories. I'd rather save it for food, to be honest. And I literally weigh out either all of my food on the scale, or I use measuring cups or spoons. And that's not to say like I don't still go to Starbucks, because I love Starbucks, love my coffee, but instead I find like low calorie options and I don't get it as much. So instead I now drink coffee from home. I get flavored coffee. I make iced coffee. I have an iced coffee maker, and I use like sugar-free coffee syrup, measure that out. I will do like coconut or almond milk because it's low calorie, it's got a lot of protein, measure that out. I'll still add, you know, some creamer sometimes, or even sugar-free creamer, but I only add like maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons. Keep it low calorie. So like that's what I mean by like there's so many different alternatives. And like I said before this, like I would go to the gas station, get a big 32 ounces, some Mountain Dew, whatever I wanted, I was gonna have, okay? Whenever I was thirsty, I would have like a big gallon of Milo's lemonade. Like I was addicted to that. I would drink it like anytime I was thirsty. I would just go to the fridge. I probably filled up a cup of it like maybe 5 times a day. And then once I started all this and I realized there was like 300 something calories per cup, I was like, holy, no. And yeah, it might taste good, sure, but again, there's other alternatives. So when I'm drinking like water, I'll put in these Mio drops. Most of the time, if I want that extra flavor, there's so many different options. Like you can get a lemonade flavor, you can get like strawberry lemonade, you can get whatever flavor, tea flavors, whatever, they have them. There's 0 calories. So yeah, if I do one soda now, however, I still will allow myself to have soda, but I just drink diet soda, and I don't drink so much of it. I try to keep it at a limit of like 1 can per day. So I'll drink like 1 can of Diet Coke, or 1 thing of Diet Mountain Dew. I know soda is so hard to break, and if you can break it, just cold turkey, good on you. I'm not there yet, and that's like a part of like this whole journey, you know, like I'm slowly implementing things into my diet, and I'm slowly taking things out. It didn't happen overnight, but I first started with, you know, this whole Lose It app, getting my calories down, finding some meals that I felt were easy, that I could make, didn't take a lot of effort, and that were pretty low calorie, and not drinking my calories. So with that being said, I do highly, and this is so freaking key, especially if you're going to be in a caloric deficit, is to make sure you have protein in every single one of your meals. Protein. Like I eat a lot of chicken. Okay, I love chicken. You're going to want to have protein in every one of your meals, because protein is what's going to make you feel full. So for example, I will wake up, might have like my coffee. I'm not usually a breakfast person. I straight up just can't stomach it. Like I will try to wait a little bit before I feel up to eating breakfast. But if I do, maybe I'll have like oatmeal so I can get some like fiber in. It makes me feel full. Or I'll wait a little bit and then have like a protein bar with my coffee. So then, by the time around like noon comes around, or 11, whatever. Next time I feel hungry and like I'm ready for lunch, I will have, on whole wheat bread, like a chicken sandwich, maybe have some veggies on the side, like some Brussels sprouts, cook them in the air fryer. I try to implement vegetables on the side as much as I can, even if they have butter on them. Like, I don't care. You got to make it tasty, and you got to make it, again, sustainable. But just keep in mind, if you're going to have all these extra additives and oils and things like that, they do add up. But I'll, get like the little steamer bags of vegetables if I want, or just canned vegetables. Maybe I'll have some cheese on the side with a sandwich, whatever. This is just an example of like a very easy meal. And then, maybe for dinner, and instead of eating like pasta, I'll now get like zucchini, chop that up, and then saute it. I measure out the oil because oil is calorie dense, okay? So I put some oil in a pan, saute up the zucchini because zucchini takes on the same consistency as spaghetti. Put some sauce in there, measure that out, put in some chicken. Voila, tastes just like spaghetti. It's one of my favorite dishes. Like, things like that. And for my snacks, like I said, like I allow myself to still have like all the snacks that I want. I just portion it. I put it all into a bowl now rather than just like straight up taking it out of the box after I weigh it out or whatever. And like I said, I still allow myself to go get fast food, but then I keep in mind, like, instead of getting like a full $5 cravings box from Taco Bell, now I'm just gonna get maybe just 2 tacos, and instead of like a regular soda, I'll do like a diet soda. And instead of doing like cheat days, I do cheat meals now, and I try to keep them at no more than twice a week. I know it's hard to do, but and I think that this is the problem, is a lot of people, like I said, will cut themselves off completely from things, tell themselves that they can't have it, and then they give up, or they associate these feelings of guilt with it. And this is why like this topic is so sensitive, is because you can't feel guilt around your body craving things naturally. Like, you allow yourself to have it, track it, and move on. Like, it's gonna be okay. I promise, it's gonna be okay. You're still gonna lose weight, and that's why I don't do like the cheat days, because I feel like I know myself. I know like I would go crazy if I decided to have pizza for lunch, and then I get into this mind shift of, okay, well, I had pizza, so I might as well just eat whatever I want. I can have cookies now. I'm gonna go ahead and have this. I'm gonna go ahead and that. And if you do that twice in a week, it's very easy to ruin your entire progress for the week. Okay, so this is why I think it's good to just allow yourself to have those in small amounts. And by this I mean, like, I'll still eat pizza, but instead of eating half of the pizza or almost all of it like I used to do, now I'll allow myself to have like 2 slices. And then maybe I'll have like a little side salad or some protein. I'll have a few little wings. And I feel full. And, that's what I've done with everything. I'll allow myself to eat something. I try to even drink water beforehand to kind of fill up my stomach a little bit. And then allow myself to have literally whatever I want. Like, I can't stress that enough, guys. You really can eat whatever you want, just portion it. Portioning is like the biggest thing. I never thought that I had big portions prior to doing this. Like, I knew I was eating out a lot, okay? But I would also follow it up with like, oh, well, I don't really eat that much though, so I don't understand why I'm gaining weight. Like, come on. No. So now, like, or when I'd be like, the few times before I would have salad, but I would load it up with salad dressing and croutons and yada yada yada. Like, yeah, ideally, like, the salad's a healthier choice than going to Burger King or whatever, but it's so calorie dense with all the dressing. So now, like, even when I have a salad, I seriously, like, hardly ever eat salad. I will now measure out exactly how much dressing I feel I want to add that's going to stay within my calorie limit. But again, like I said, I don't eat salads. I hardly do. I did kind of at the beginning of this, like, I found like a dupe for my favorite salad because I love Chick-fil-A's. I can't remember what it's called. It's like a strawberry salad. And that's like another good advice. Like, find dupes of whatever you like to make at home. But yeah, for the most part, I really do truly eat whatever I want. But then again, I say that, but I also eat a lot of the same stuff, like, over and over and over again. And I don't really ever get tired of it. Like, every now and then I'll switch up, like, the side or something, just to kind of make it a little more interesting. Or every now and then I'll find, like, a different recipe that I might want to learn how to make. But for the most part, I just continuously eat the same stuff. And I'm personally fine with that. I know exactly how many calories it is. I now, since I've been measuring stuff for so long, I now can just visually, like, know, like, okay, this is what it looks like in my cup when I pour this much milk in for my coffee. So, like, there's no need for me to really measure it. And eventually you'll get to that point of just, like, knowing. But I think starting off, it's good to maybe start trying to measure things. And I'm not saying you even have to use the calorie counting app or you even have to count calories, period. But just finding, like, low calorie foods in general, like, not necessarily counting out everything or weighing everything. If you simply just find lower calorie options, healthier options, and drinking more water, you're going to see a lot of progress. Another thing I do want to speak, like I said, like, at the very beginning of this, I was obese, and I wanted to get back down to my normal, which was technically overweight. So I originally went into this with just, like, wanting to lose, like, 10, maybe 15 pounds. And then once I saw the results and I started really working on my mental and, like, physical health and just eating right, and I realized, like, it was working, I was like, wow, like, okay, well, really, like, I need to be healthy. So what is a normal healthy BMI and how can I get there? So that's what took me down to where I'm at now. Another thing I do want to mention is that in order to be healthy, you only want to lose, and I think the app, even if you do use the app I'm using, you only want to lose, like, 1 to 2 pounds a week to be healthy. Okay, and now I know I mentioned, like, I'm not really a breakfast person. I don't really want to eat breakfast. So that kind of, I just want to speak very briefly on this. I was intermittent fasting as well. I did join some intermittent fasting groups, and on top of also being in a caloric deficit. Now, do I still do that? Sometimes. I sometimes will fast, but I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it. And I don't know if it's, like, the best thing ever, but I did do that at the very beginning. I would do 16-8. So I would sleep the majority of the time. I would fast, and then I would have an 8-hour feeding window where I could eat as much as I wanted within that window. So, and I still kind of take some pieces from that now. And so, for example, like, I cut myself off from eating at 8 p.m. every single night, and I think that if you're gonna usually start to eat around 11, 12 p.m. the next day. It sounds hard, but honestly, you're sleeping most of the time, and you wake up around 9, so from 9 to 11, 12 o'clock, you just have straight up black coffee or green tea, and that's about it until you eat. But like I said, I don't really do that anymore because my calorie intake has gone down so much that I just don't know if it's the safest thing. But at the same time, like, there's a lot of, like, stigma around intermittent fasting. I definitely would say like do your research on that and see if that's even for you. But for me, like even prior to losing 35 pounds, I would kind of always go back and forth to intermittent fasting if I felt like I needed to lose 5 pounds here and there. So I just am kind of used to it. Like I said, I just found it easy for me. It does drop your insulin levels, and that's something like I do want to say throughout all of this. Like, yeah, you definitely can have pizza, you can have candy, you can have cookies, whatever, but understand that if you're going to eat a lot of those things, sure, you can still lose weight, but also you want to opt for those healthier options like vegetables and protein and things of that nature, because the more that you have those foods, the more your insulin is going to rise, which is then going to cause more of a binge, and you're going to want to eat more of that. Your body's going to crave more of that. So like I said, I try to keep it at a minimum, and I don't allow myself to eat that all the time. And speaking of insulin, another thing you can do, and what I do every single morning, and I think really, really helped gear my weight loss right away, is I drink apple cider vinegar every single morning. I do 2 tablespoons with water. It is so important that you add water. I drink it through a straw even, because it can really mess up your teeth, your throat, stomach, all that. But you want to get apple cider vinegar with the mother. You want to make sure it's the one with the mother. And you do 2 tablespoons of that with some water. It's going to be really hard at first to get down, but I promise you it's an acquired taste. Like I can drink it like it's nothing now, whereas before I couldn't handle it. So I do drink that every morning, and I also do drink green tea. I drink decaf green tea every single night. Sometimes I'll have just like regular green tea in the morning, but for the most part it's just kind of like a nightly ritual that I do before I go to bed. I like to drink my decaf green tea at night. The green tea is going to help boost your metabolism, speed it up, and it also has a lot of antioxidants for your skin, which is going to help your skin just glow and help your gut. And then the apple cider vinegar helps burn fat and also drops your insulin levels, which is going to decrease your cravings for like those sugary things. And just you're going to see like just over time, like whatever route you decide to go, whether it's working out or doing whatever it is you decide to do, you're going to see just your mental health is going to just absolutely switch. Like people aren't joking when they say like you literally have so much more energy, you have so much more motivation to just I want to say like you just kind of like it's almost like a domino effect in this whole thing. Like you change one thing and you're just like, how else can I make myself better? Like what else can I do? Like what's something else I've always wanted to do? It's a really good feeling, and that's honestly kind of what then shifted me into going to the gym. Again, this was not something that I just started off right off the bat. It was like, I'm gonna go work out, I'm gonna go eat healthy. Like no, I slowly started to do these things, and eventually I got to the point, I think, you know, you don't necessarily have to even work out to lose weight. You really don't. It's 80% about what you eat and 20% about what you do. So you could simply just go on walks every day or just increase your walking, and like I did, and that's gonna really help as well as with your diet. So I want to say, like, I lost 19 pounds without ever stepping foot into the gym or really even ever thinking of it, just from simply eating better and making different choices. Which real quick, I just want to like, I forgot to mention this, I just want to let you guys know, like, I still do drink, but I now have like really cut it down. So I'll do like sugar-free vodka, or I'll just get like 1 tall boy, something low calorie, and I literally will only have like maybe 1 shot, maybe 1 or 2 shots, and I do it just once a week. So I've really drastically cut it down. I just wanted to say that really quick. I didn't completely cut it out, and hopefully one day maybe I can actually get there of like completely cutting it out of my life, but for now that's where I'm at, and it's made a drastic difference, and it's literally all about balance and all of this. But anyway, I want to get into like talking about the gym now, and honestly, I went to the gym because, again, it was just something that, like, the domino effect. I was just like, what else can I do to just help elevate my mental health, elevate my situation? How else can I improve? And so I started going to the gym with my mom. And to be completely honest with you guys, I hardly even go. Like, I don't go every single day. I only go a little bit. But all that matters is that I'm moving, and I, do cardio. I'll do some, like, weight stuff with my mom, but it's mostly cardio because I'm just, moving. And I actually like going now. So, I think that going with my mom really helped me get in there, because otherwise I don't think I probably would have gone by myself at first. And then also, I do work out from home now, and this is, again, something that just slowly started happening, where since I wake up pretty early, and just any free time I have, or, like, I have, like, 2 days off during the week, so on both of those days, one day I'm going to work at home, one day I might go to the gym, like, whatever. Just so long as I'm doing something every single day, that's all that matters. And, so I do want to talk also, and this is why, like, I'm making this so brief, because, yeah, like, going to the gym is good for you, but it really comes down to your diet at the end of the day, and you can't target fat loss. You definitely can tone, and, muscle is going to help get rid of some of that fat, but it's mostly, like, so long as you're moving. I can't stress that enough. It's kind of like this whole thing is like you're reparenting yourself, like, when to eat, like, giving yourself, like, okay, you're done eating at 8, you don't need to, whatever. And just even, like, mentally, it's constantly having to, like, work through this internally and trying to heal a lot about myself. But I think, honestly, when I started taking not only just, like, the physical aspect of wanting to lose weight just so I could be skinny, I instead, when I started looking inward and I made this, like, a mental transformation as well, that's when everything clicked for me. I wanted to make a complete 360 turnaround in everything in my life. That didn't happen overnight, and I just have slowly cut out so many different toxic things, and I've just been trying to work on myself and love myself and heal myself physically and mentally. And I think that's what the biggest thing, what it all came down to, that shifted for me. And I still, every day that I wake up, I still have to, like, mentally make a effort to keep going in this, keep going, not only in what I'm eating, what I'm but, like, what I'm learning and trying to better myself, have goals now. That's kind of what started it. I wrote down, like, what does the highest version of myself do? What does she do? And then just start implementing those things. Like, now, for example, I think one of the first things I did was I wrote down that the highest version of myself, she wakes up, she has her tea, she has her coffee, and takes care of herself. Like, I started spending more time with myself in the morning. So if I have to work at 9, like, I'm gonna wake up, like, 3 hours early. I know it sounds crazy, but, like, I kind of, like, mentally have to have that now. Like, I have to have that time to just sit and relax, and whether it be watching videos on my phone or watching something on YouTube that's inspirational, or whatever it is, whatever that means to you, listening to music, like, I have to have that now, and just be at peace with myself before I start my whole day. It really has changed a lot for me, and it's really helped my mentality. So just, like, implementing, like, all these different things in my life, it is absolutely changed my life. It really has. So anyway, gosh, I was not I really wanted this to be, like, a hyped up, like, motivational video, And instead I feel like I was kind of sad, and like just talking about this, like reminiscing on all these things, it is kind of sad to like talk about. And I'm so sorry that I got so upset talking about this. I don't know if this was like the kind of video you guys were expecting, but this is what has worked for me. This is where I'm at. I'm a lot happier now. Like, I know I just went on like a whole tangent there for a second throughout this, but yeah, like I really truly do feel better mentally and physically. Not everything's all rainbows and sunshine, and I still have to work through like different things every single day. I don't think that's ever gonna stop. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop trying to improve myself now, whereas before I didn't have goals. I was just going through life, living through the motions, and that was that, and just accepting like this is like I'm just supposed to be miserable. And no, your life doesn't have to be miserable. Really, it shows in the way that I speak, the way that I think, the way that I look at myself. It's not all just about the aesthetic of losing weight to be happy, because that doesn't solve your problems, and that's not sustainable. What's sustainable is loving yourself. And anyway, you should love yourself no matter whatever side. Like I said, I really hope you guys can take away at least something from this video. And I also do want to mention, like, again, it is so important to love yourself at any size, okay? And you guys are all beautiful no matter what size you're at. And I really truly don't want you to compare yourself. And whenever I speak on, you know, doing air quotations or saying like, oh, I was overweight, I was obese, and like you want to compare your body to mine before or even now, listen, I say things are bad because I had a bad relationship with food and alcohol, not just the way I looked. I'm not saying the way I looked was necessarily bad. I felt bad in result of me eating and drinking that way. And I'm not talking about you at all. I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about me. My story. And at the end of the day, do whatever makes you happy and makes you feel good. Because that's all that matters. It really does. Whatever's going to make you feel your best and be your highest self, okay? Anyway, this has probably been a really long video. You guys absolutely can ask me any questions. Feel free to message me. Leave positive feedback below. Follow the video. Follow me. And wish you guys all the absolute best.